What up? Hope you're doing awesome. It's Zack Miller here to discuss something that many of you are probably thinking, this is silly. Why would someone in the world be interested in what I do each and every day? Now, I myself have done this recently and find myself probably doing it over and over and over again with whatever I'm, fascinated or learning with. And I think oftentimes we, as individuals, are like, no, I don't need to do this because no one really cares about it. And yet, when you go back and look at it, it's a pretty fascinating turn of events, statistics, whatever you want to call it. So, whatever we are best in the world at, whatever we do for a living, oftentimes we declare not to share the information about what we do with people and kind of the ins and outs of that each and every day. And so we don't create content around what we do for a living. Now that content could be documenting, it could be just telling the stories, it could be blogging, videos like this, vlogging, whatever it could be. So I've thought about this for a long time and acted on it for a really long time, but recently when I signed up for my half an Ironman, I realized that I started searching for a lot of videos on how to run a half an Ironman. And so that made me realize that, a lot of people are searching for these videos. I mean, some of these videos have multi-millions of views, which is crazy because it's someone who just runs Ironmans, is an athlete, and creates content around how to do that in specific topics. What shoes to wear, what clothes to wear, what speed to do, how to train for this, how to do that, how should you wear your hair, do you wear sunblock, how much water should you drink, all these crazy things. And with 20, 30, 40,000 views per episode, hundreds and 200s and 3s and 400,000s of views and millions of views in some of these pieces of content, depending on the topic, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So here's what I think you should do. Number one, realize that what you do for a living, other people are fascinated in. And when they need to do that topic themselves, whatever it is that you do for a day, or whatever your hobbies are, start thinking about creating content around that. So what could content be? Content is simply the material that is produced that others will consume of yours or whoever is the producer. It could be written, it could be image, it could be visual, it could be audio, it could be all of the above, it could be something else that doesn't exist yet, whatever it could be. But content is producing something that someone else will consume in its simplest form. So in my case, it's I want to make sure that I am prepared and ready to run this specific race. And I promise you I'm not going to be talking about this forever, about this race that I'm doing. But it's interesting how I am just a general person doing this stuff, and I'm searching and starting to buy merchandise and equipment, I guess, to better prepare myself for something that I wasn't expecting to do. And likely, others are thinking the same thing, with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on these videos. But that's just for this one, specific medium. Imagine if it's something else. How do I buy a house? How do I swim a mile? How do I repair my iPhone? How do I drink more water? How do I start a new habit? How do I read a book quicker? How do I design this? How do I ride a bike? All of these things are types of content that people are deep diving on that maybe you do each and every day, which are examples of which you can use for your own kind of thought process on what content should I produce. And so it's interesting because now I probably, no joke, 2 weekends in a row, I probably consumed, kid you not, 10 hours of content around running being prepared for a triathlon, and then even deeper on that, being prepared for an Ironman, half an Ironman. And so I say this because I know I'm not alone. I know that you are out there thinking, well, what could I prepare? There's a chapter in Anomaly where I talk about this, like documenting and telling people what you do for a living. Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to tell people what I do. No one wants to hear that. Well, then when you get tens and hundreds of thousands of views on your content, you'll be like, oh, And then you have a business model out of it, and then you can quit your day job and do something different. Do you see why it matters? So, surprise! Ha! People are searching for what you do daily. So either you start producing content around that so that you can be helpful Henry or helpful Harriet, or you can continue to sit on the bench and allow others to produce that content that others are looking to consume. You can become the expert, the authority, and ultimately the anomaly to others who are looking for help. Like, I don't know, the people that I'm consuming content with are from, I didn't know them before Adam and Eve or whatever the thing is, whatever that saying is. Like, I didn't know them 3 weeks ago. I do now. Subscribe to them. Like, that's why you should start producing this content. You'll get better at it. You'll get better at it. That's why I do this. I want to tell you, from a marketing perspective, what are some ideas to get better at life, to build that brand, that career that you want. And that's what I do here. So, if you do something for a living, think about starting to create content around whatever that thing is for a living. Also, if you started looking at the YouTube page or wherever you're listening to this, you will recognize that I started changing up some of the thumbnails. So hopefully you like that. I've decided that it's really imperative for me, and I feel like I've talked about this before. It's really just a quick little caveat, quick little meander through a random black hole, is I want to make sure that everything that I'm preaching in the book I'm actually doing. So if you remember recently I took over all of my emails, so I'm doing that. I wanted to take over all the artwork so that everything that I'm preaching are things that I'm actively doing myself. And I think that's important for me to do because I want you guys to realize that not only can I do it, but I am doing it, and I'm doing it super on the cheap, which is important for me. Because I don't want to just say, oh, do this thing, and then have someone else do it, which is what I see a lot. So everything that you see me do or that you see being produced, I am the one doing it. That's intentional. I'm not a super tech person. I'm not super smart. I'm just showing you how to do it. So as I was reading Anomaly for, I believe, the last time before I'm sending it in for the final, I realized that there is... I'm going to start creating content like this as well, where I'm teaching people very specific pieces. So each chapter is written very independently, and then at the end of each chapter there is a roadmap, which is like a checklist of things that you can do, like next steps. And then from that, I'm realized that I could take each chapter and probably create my own content on YouTube, maybe even on podcasts as well, so that I can show you exactly how to do specific steps when I'm going through that, so that there is an arsenal of content available for you to not only read it, but then also have video content as well to show you how to do it. Hopefully, Anomaly and everything that I produce for you is content that will allow you to better your chances to not only be seen, but also to enhance your marketing and get content out there. So I'm showing you how to do it in raw form so that it's not super polished. I believe in raw form because I feel like when people do super polished, they're misleading a little bit. The only thing that I would maybe manipulate would be if I had slow internet and I would try and just speed up the time there, but I probably would do everything in real time. So that's it. All right. So whatever you do for a living, think about creating content on that. The first thing you could do is just documenting a conversation or showing a video through it. This morning, even myself, I looked at how to do daily vlogs through a specific cell phone. If I end up doing that, which I probably would need to get a new cell phone first, I would show you exactly how to do that because it's something important for me to share with you how to specifically create content. I don't want to just say like, oh, this is what you do. I want to show you and make sure it's easy for you to understand and comprehend, because I wrote Anomaly and I do everything that I do because the overwhelming majority of content that I see being produced are by people who are intermediate and experts that are not teaching at that kind of dummies level, which I think is important. I mean dummies in the nicest of ways. Please don't take offense by that. All right, that's it. If you guys have a specific piece of content you want to hear me produce, let me know. I'll do it, whether it's on the show here or somewhere else. All right. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening, watching, and consuming. Love y'all. Peace.